David, you are absolutely right. I do not recognize any such event in the past, because here we are not talking only about friendship between Israel and the Bahrain or the Emirate. We are talking here alliances. This is an alliance with Bahrain against the common enemy, against Iran, of course. Neither Bennett nor the king will say that aloud, but I can say it. And this is the first time, I believe, in the history of the relationship between Israel and Arab state, that we have here a true alliance between an Arab state and Israel confronting a common enemy. And if you remember, Defense Minister Gantz visited Bahrain 2 or 3 weeks ago. He signed then a security agreement with Bahrain. Nobody knew exactly what was in it. But today, when Bennett visits this country, this is the crowning of the cake of this agreement between the two countries.
And certainly security ties there underlying all the situation, as you highlight here, certainly. But on Bahrain, still so close to Saudi Arabia, geographically and politically, how instrumental is Crown Prince bin Salman in this? And another form of the question, what's keeping the Saudis from emerging from those shadows to embrace Israel as well?
David, I would only say that without the Saudi consent, this would not have taken place. This is obvious to me. First of all, you know that in order to get to Bahrain, Bennett had to overfly Saudi territory, but this is only a technical detail. The close relationship between Bahrain and Israel, and also the Emirate in Israel, are done in complete agreement with the Saudis. So one can ask, if the Saudis do agree to that, why don't they do it themselves in the open? Well, Saudis have a special problem. They are the guardians of the holy places of Islam. They have a historical role. It's not easy for them to appear publicly at the side of Israel. What is going on under the surface is another thing. And I am convinced that there is a wide range of cooperation between Saudi and Israel, between the Saudis and the Emirate and Bahrain and Israel. And again, all of that because these countries are worried. They are worried because Iran is making headways in its effort to get an atomic bomb. They are also worried to see that in Vienna there might be an agreement which is not good for these countries, for us, or for the Arab countries neighboring Iran. And this brings us all together, and this is really a first in the story, in the history of the Middle East. It's a first, and it's remarkable, and I don't hesitate to qualify it as historic.
Absolutely. Remarkable and astounding, especially this state embrace of the prime minister today in Bahrain. These are images certainly fresh to Israeli eyes here, such friendship. But on another angle of this, is there an aspect that the U.S. seeming withdrawal from the region, here engaging with the Iranians, trying to make a deal with them, the sense that the U.S. is withdrawn a bit from the region itself? Is there something there binding these countries even closer together, realizing in a way that region's on its own?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you certainly know that about 2 weeks ago, the United States has decided to cancel some of its sanctions against Iran. That's a clear step towards Iran, a clear indication that the United States is interested in a nuclear deal with Iran, which will not be good for the countries of the region. Coming with the withdrawal of the United States, not only of the region, but look at Afghanistan. It's not part of the Middle East, but it's not far away. So these countries, which traditionally have relied on the United States, they know, of course, the United States remain a close ally, but maybe an ally which is not so near as it used to be. who doesn't have a presence like it used to have. So this also brings the country together with the hope, of course, that they will continue to enjoy United States support.
I think it's important to mention that U.S. Fifth Fleet there is based in Bahrain. Part of the meeting is going on, but yes, diplomatically speaking, there's been a sense of withdrawal. Ambassador Avi Pazner, thanks for being with us on the subject.
Thank you, David.